today I'm going to be talking about learning the A section of Etude Opus 45, number 2 by Heller. We're going to start off by learning just the melody line and learning how to play that really well. So we're going to start off, if you look at your music, we're going to start off with the left hand. It's very, very important in this piece and in all your playing that your finger joints aren't collapsing. We want to keep very stable joints, keeping in mind that your first joint is highest, then your second, and then the other one should just stay in place. Okay, so we're going to start off talking about the left hand. What we're going to do is we're going to just sit on the keys and practice rotating your forearm. So it's in a normal position and it rotates to the right and upwards. Again, to the right and upwards. Okay. So when we start to play this, we rotate as we play. So we start there, then we rotate a bit more, and release the key. And come slightly off the piano keys. And then we're going to come to an E, and we're going to drop onto the E. Make sure the joint stays stable, and we're going to drop not with the middle of the finger, because our hand's currently angled that way. We're going to drop with the slightly to the right edge of this finger and make sure that the joint stays very stable. So we have rotate, release the key, drop, rotate, release, drop. Then we do it on D. Rotate, release, drop, rotate. Everything you're doing, you make sure that the joints aren't collapsing. Then we're going to do it in the right hand, starting from the F. We're going to this time rotate to the left and upwards, drop. With this time we're angling slightly to the left of the finger. And then from C. Okay, so now we're ready to start adding in the other hand. So as the left hand starts here, it releases as the right hand plays a D, and the right hand moves slightly off the keys, and then moves up and places the thumb at A. So we're going to do this again, place the thumb at A, and just sit there. So we're going to have right hand should be sitting at A, and then again sitting at A. Then we're going to do the next lot. This time the right hand will move up and sit at D. So the thumb will sit at D. Sit at D. Sit at D. Then the left hand thumb will come and sit at F. Thumb sits at F. Thumb sits at C. Okay, so in order to make this part become more fluid, you should practice, just keep adding a note. Here's your first note. Then making sure that your forearm is rotating and that your joints aren't collapsing. Then making sure that the right hand thumb comes out stronger than the left hand thumb because it's on the second beat of the bar, whereas the left hand thumb is just the last triplet of the group, and that's a softer note. So, and then bring the thumb to A, and then you practice that. If your joints are collapsing at any point, slow down. If they're not, if you're finding that easier, you can gradually build up the speed, making sure that your thumb comes to A each time. Then with the next one, you do the same thing. So you start, and then thing here. Thumb to F. Again. Thumb to F. And then the next one. Thumb to C. Sorry, I forgot to put my thumb there, silly me. Okay, then we have the next part going. Okay, so at a moderate speed, if we go through that whole melodic line, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, thumb to A, 2, 1, 2, thumb to D, and 1, 2, thumb to D, 2, 1, 2, thumb to F, wait, 1, 2, thumb to C, and right. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thumb to A. Thumb to A. Thumb to D and thumb to F and thumb to C and 2 and Notice that when you're playing these, you're not playing staccatos, you're playing mezzo staccato, and when you play this, you use the weight of your arm to play the keys and hold them. Just practice, it's like a floating movement of the arm. Make sure at all times that you have space between your elbow and your body. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is to add in the chords, the triads that go there. So we went thumb to A. Now instead of just putting thumb to A, we play an A minor triad. Then 2 bars later, again we have an A minor triad. 2 bars later, we put the thumb to D. Now we play a D minor triad. And 2 bars later, another D minor triad. So going through that from the beginning, we have thumb to A triad, thumb to A triad. Now with this triad, just jump away from the keys quickly, and it shouldn't be as loud as your accent was. So if you hear that, and you hear that, this should be less. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now when we come to the bits where the left hand does the chords, we have a different type of chord. Before, in the right hand ones, we had minor chords. In the left hand, we have diminished chords. Now, if you don't know what a diminished chord is, that's fine. It's made up of a chord made up of minor thirds. So basically, the first one is going to be a diminished chord from B. Now, a minor third is essentially a tone and a half. So you skip 2 semitones. You skip the C, you skip the C sharp, you play the D with your third finger. You skip the D sharp, you skip the E, and you play the F with your thumb. So that's B diminished. It might look like a minor chord. It might look the same as the A minor. But if you listen to it, it sounds different. Okay, so, and then the second, so the B diminished looks very much like the A minor chord or the D minor chord, but sounds different. Then we have an F sharp diminished. Now the F sharp diminished, we put the 4th finger on F sharp, we skip the G, we skip the G sharp, we play the A with the 2nd finger, we skip the B flat, we skip the B, and we play the C. And make sure that you're not scrunching up your 2nd finger like that. You have to just keep it forward slightly because of the 4th finger being on the F sharp. And lift your 3rd finger so it's not accidentally going to hit an extra key. So just practice that B, the F sharp diminished. So I think you should practice a little bit of B diminished, fifth finger, F sharp diminished, fourth finger. We'll just practice that a few times. Okay, so if we go through that part, we start here, 1 and 2 and take the thumb to F, play B diminished. Take the thumb to C, play F sharp diminished with 4-2 thumb. So that tends to be a spot that students get stuck on because it's different, so make sure you point your fourth finger at F sharp as you're taking the thumb to C. So one more time, 1 and 2 and 1 and fifth finger on B. Now fourth finger on F sharp. And then we have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and okay, so putting all of that together at that speed, 1 and 2 and 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 2 and 1 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 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and move it and 2 and the 2 and moving and 2 and 1 and 2 and moving and 2 and 1 and 2 and moving and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and